Everyone told me I shouldn't become a publisher because it's hard, magazines are folding, it's gonna take a lot of money, you'll never be successful. But I pursue it because, one, I'm good at it, it did work, and I love what I do.
Hey everyone, it's Neffy Anderson here with a brand new episode of The Path Less Traveled. Now today's guest is magazine publisher and creative director DéVon Johnson. Now let me give you the rundown on DéVon, okay? DéVon is most known for being the founder and CEO of Blue Life Media and Entertainment, the home of Bleu Magazine, which is a quarterly periodical that basically is by, for, and about today's man that transcends stereotypes and embodies culture, fashion, and fun. If you're if you're like a hip hop head, you're probably like, yeah, I know this dude, but I don't really know, I don't remember him from the magazine thing. Then you probably know DéVon from his days in the music industry, where he worked for labels such as Def Jam, Warner Music Group. Was it Columbia? Not Columbia. Universal Music Group. I mean, this guy, he got his hands in everything. So DéVon, thank you for inviting us into your home. We're actually here in the place, if I'm correct.
Yeah, right here on this coffee table is where I laid the first issue of the magazine out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is Bleu Magazine's starting place. We're part of history right now.
Like Steve Jobs has his garage. I have my living room.
I love it. So, okay, talk to me about like how this whole concept for the magazine came about. Why did you want to do it? I know that you wanted to do it for some time, and that kind of
it's a few things. It's like 3 versions of the story, and all 3 are actually true.
Okay.
When I was younger, I did a thing in junior high school. I did my own magazine. It was called All About Me.
Okay.
And I was on the cover, and it was all about me. And it's funny, my mom still has this little mock-up magazine that I did. Put that away, forget about it. I go to college, I get out, I get a job in the music industry, I'm doing marketing. And in the marketing department, we're working with magazines. We're getting artists, photo shoots, getting covers, that whole thing.
Right.
And so you link that to this childhood thing that I did. I planted the seed in my head early on. So while working in the music industry, I'm like, you know what, I want to start my own brand. I always say like Def Jam was like, and I was there for just 2 years, but it's like Def Jam University. You learn the power of a brand, you learn the power of a team that believes in the brand, and you learn the power of having great talent associated with the brand. And from that, I decided I wanted my own great brand also, long-term iconic brand.
Right. Wow. So what would you say that you did to deliberately brand yourself, right? Because there's so many magazines out there. What makes you and yours stand out?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I felt the need, when you create something, entrepreneurs know this, you either improve on an existing idea or you create something brand new.
Right.
I chose a combination in both. By improving on an existing medium, which is magazines, I created a brand new look of what multicultural or men of color look like in magazines. Nothing's wrong with some of these other magazines that have the rappers and athletes, and I think that's great. I was never going to be a rapper. I was never going to be an athlete. Not that I have a little rhythm, but definitely not a rapper. And I'm okay with like basketball, like in the backyard on a home court.
Right.
But I'm not going to be in no one's team. I'm not going to NBA. So what about guys like me that wanted to see themselves and people that did things like them in print? There wasn't that out there. So I created a platform that was diverse enough that included myself, but also a space for these athletes and a space for rappers. So everyone's included as opposed to just one particular person.
I love it. So what would you say was like your big moment, your turning point in regards to this magazine thing? Like when did it really jump off? Like this is my breakout moment.
So actually, from the moment we started, my first launch party was actually hosted by Wendy Williams, and this is when
Auntie Wendy?
Yes, this is when Auntie Wendy. So this is when Wendy was transitioning from radio to TV.
Right.
And she was doing some promo stuff, and she just got back to New York from being at a different station in a different state, and we got her through a few phone calls and relationships to host our party. So the moment we came out with a good bang.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would you say is one thing that you know now that you wish you knew when you first got into the industry?
If I knew that then, I may not even be doing this. It's hard. And it takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
This starting a magazine, sounds easy in pictures and paper and glue, right? You can, a child in elementary school can cut some pictures out and call it a magazine. But to have a brand that you see yourself with in the future and having long-term impact is a lot harder. So I think if I knew how hard it was, I don't think I would have done it.
Now talk to me about some of the financial strain, because that's the part of the hardship, right?
Absolutely.
What would you have done differently? What could you tell people that maybe are aspiring to start their own in regards to, like, you know, their magazine?
Okay, so for me, I did my business plan for the magazine 2 years after I started the magazine.
Okay.
In your business plan, and I wouldn't say not to do a business if you don't have a business plan, but have some type of skeletal financial plan. And that's what I didn't have. So what happened was when costs came up, or with things like paper prices were going up, or new printer or distributor, I wasn't prepared once I spent the money if I didn't get it back. I didn't have a financial plan. So I think that's the main thing that any entrepreneur should do, is try to price out to the best of your ability. A lot of it's going to be estimates, how much it's going to cost, not just to get to point A, but from point A to point B. Because I think a lot of us plan for point A. People say, you know, I only have plan A, I don't have a plan B.
Right.
Well, you have step B. You may not have plan B. Plan A may be great, but once you achieve that one space or that one place, what are you going to do to get to the next level?
Right.
And that's what I didn't have planned at first.
Gotcha. So you have achieved so much success, and to the outside world it may seem like, you know, you never had any struggle, which you spoke about.
Okay.
So talk to me about your last career low and how you bounced back from it.
Well, so the thing about career lows is that, and this may be a little corny or cliche, but Oprah says this thing, like, until you're living your truth, you'll never have success. And so a lot of us are at jobs that we hate. We just hate our bosses, we hate what we do, we hate the monotony of our day. The thing is that job could be the financial seed to what your dream is. So don't look at your career or your job or the place you hate as like, oh my God, why I'm here. You should look for the purpose in being there. So I'm at this job, it's from 9 to 5, I don't like it, but I still have from 5:01 p.m. to 8:59 a.m. the next day to do everything else that I want to do and to pursue my dream and do my research, start my business plan, all these different things. So I don't know if there's really like a career low. I think there's a pivot, or there's a moment where you say, do I want to keep doing this the rest of my life? And if I don't want to keep doing it, what am I doing to change it? Because the world isn't going to change for you. You have to change the world around you.
Right. I love it. So, in your words, what was your last pivot?
My last pivot happened about 2 years ago. So Bleu Magazine is one of the magazines we started. That's the anchor magazine.
Right.
So I created Blue Life Media Group. I had an idea to start a sister magazine for Blue, and I called it Pink. I didn't do my due diligence, and I created a team of people that weren't loyal to me, and they all but stole the brand from me. And I'm going through a bunch of issues and legal issues to prove the truth, which is it was my idea and it was mine in the first place. And that's been very expensive. You know, it's actually costing me more in legal fees than it did if I had just done the right thing up front, and I just didn't know any better. I'm a very trusting person.
Right.
With that said, while I'm dealing with that, I didn't allow it to hold me down. I'm still dealing with that on my own. I have a great legal team. But then I started another magazine called Bombshell. And Bombshell is an amazing, beautiful celebration of women of color.
Yeah.
That I'm extremely proud of. It's done really great. It's been a wonderful grassroots from the ground up movement that I just love, and it's great. And my staff and the interns work on it, and it's something that I oversee, but I don't have any part in it. I let everyone on my team input to what that's going to be.
Right.
So that's been truly amazing. And I also I made sure I had all my paperwork properly lined up in advance. So went to my attorney, got the trademark, got the tax ID number, got things signed, got non-disclosure agreements, got non-compete clauses, got confidentiality, all that stuff up front, so I wouldn't have to have these things come up again. Because I'm definitely still a little traumatized by that, because I was just very, very trusting.
Right.
But it hasn't kept me, because I am an entrepreneur.
Right.
And if I really believe that was my last great idea, then I'm not much of an entrepreneur.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I love
I should
it.
always be challenged to come up with new things. And I'm working on an app right now, so I mean, I don't stop.
Yes, you
can,
don't stop.
You can
I
try
love
to
it.
you can try to steal it. You can try to take it, but you know, a true creative person is going to be a true creative person. You know, none of the greats got where they are by stealing someone else's idea. So.
Right. I love that's a quote. Write that down. Okay. So you touched on.
You can't be great with stolen property. It's not possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you touched on like the whole legal thing that you're going through, because a lot of people don't know where to start, what to do in regards to legal. And so like right now I'm even going through some of that myself. Like people want to just take your stuff, or like, oh, we love your idea.
And they take it. They don't want to help you. They disguise themselves as team players, or they want to help you grow this dream.
Right.
But the truth is they don't have any of their own good ideas, and they want to take your dream from you.
Yeah.
And they see your enthusiasm, they see your happiness, they see that you are willing to trust them.
Yeah.
And everyone in the world isn't nice. And that's something that I've learned definitely the hard way. I grew up in a very protective, caring and nurturing environment, wonderful family, wonderful friends, sense of community. So I didn't really come into New York City or come into my adult life with like the assumption people can do bad things.
Right.
But through trial and error, I've learned people can be bad.
So what is the advice that you can give to entrepreneurs regarding legal matters?
Absolutely. So there are several resources. I mean, there's a bunch of websites. There's some apps, some legal apps that are coming out. The first thing you should do is contact a lawyer. Most should be able to have a conversation with you without charging you. You know, because lawyers are very expensive.
Yeah.
But you can at least get a consultation, a legal consultation up front, right? And you can find out if your idea needs to be copywritten or trademarked, if you need to incorporate right away, what type of corporation, whether it's C Corp, S Corp, partnership, LLC, and what you do before you even tell your friends about it. Because you should, if that idea's in your head, you need to just, or a trusted person, talk to them. There's also great resources in the library, and most cities right now around the country have nonprofit organizations that help counsel people that want to be entrepreneurs and start a business.
Right.
There's also SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, which is a service called Retired Executives. There's a bunch of resources. Luckily for us in New York, we have a business library on 34th and Madison. You can go down there and ask questions, and like there's lots of resources. Believe it or not, I mean, there's the old saying, you know, if you want to keep something from people, you hide it in the books.
Right.
I mean, it's literally in the books.
Right.
Like, and the books are online now, so.
Right.
And you can go online for free at the library.
Right.
So
see?
there isn't much of an excuse.
You guys catching all the knowledge that you dropping, you catching it?
Yeah, people are like, oh, I don't have a computer, I don't have internet. Okay, so you have a library.
Right.
Because everyone has a library, and they have to provide those services for you. So therefore, you can go to the library and get information.
Right.
All the information you need is out there.
Right. Now, what I love about you is the fact that, number one, you're so driven, you have perseverance, and you are well educated. Like, you just don't stop. It's like, okay, I did my undergrad at Seton Hall, then you took some time, you went to NYU and did a couple courses there, and now you're at Harvard.
Yeah, so, oh yeah, craziest decision of my life. So I'm taking some courses at Harvard to get my master's in journalism. Even though I'm a businessman and entrepreneur, I wanted to make my writing stronger, and I knew that I'd had to learn, and why not learn at one of the greatest institutions in the world. They have a great journalism program through Extension School, and I decided to start pursuing that. The thing at NYU was great because it was a at-night program. I did it as a non-matriculated student. They have a Publishers Institute.
Okay.
So I learned like the structure and the history of publishing and where it came from and why it's important. And then getting my master's in journalism, I learned the power of the words and having a voice and supporting what you're saying, you know?
Right.
So I have a great respect for journalists. And as the brand grew, I needed to attract, I don't want to say better writers, because I don't want to offend anyone that worked with me in the beginning, more seasoned writers.
Right.
And in order to demand excellence from the writers in my book, I myself need to recognize what excellence is. You know, before learning how or becoming a better writer, you could send me something and I may think it sounds great, but I don't know if it's fact checked. I don't know if the grammar's right. I don't know if the period's inside the quotation marks. I don't know any of that stuff. So I had to learn. And I think my mom's a teacher, and then she retired as a principal for New York City Board of Ed. So education has always been really, really important to me, and I
Right.
don't think you're ever too old or too young to learn. I have a goddaughter who's 3 years old learning Spanish already. So
What?
yeah, I mean, you don't ever not want to learn. Knowledge is definitely power.
Right. So one thing that I absolutely love about Bleu Magazine is that it is inclusive of all races, sexualities, just everything.
Yeah.
So can you talk to me, as a black man, you are not homophobic at all. You accept and embrace everyone, and that is evident in your publication. So can you talk to the people who may have, like, you know, their hang-ups about sexuality, and or maybe someone that is a homosexual and they want to enter into the entertainment industry? Because this is, you know.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think that people are not inclusive. I think a great representation of what the world is right now is the show Empire. I think it's an amazing show. So I think it's a pretty accurate depiction of how the music industry is.
Right.
Which is where I came from the music industry, being influenced by Def Jam and wanting to start a brand. So there isn't, I think that people shouldn't believe stereotypes or believe false statements of the media about hip hop being non-inclusive. I think anything creative cannot be non-inclusive, because creativity comes out of diversity. If you're not diverse in people's race, women, LGBT, all these different things, how do you expect to have a great, amazing product or a great, amazing business? And the world isn't one-dimensional. I mean, with 31 states, support, gay marriage right now, I think that the wave of the future, I think my nephews and my nieces and the younger generation, the millennials, they're not even thinking about this stuff.
Right.
I think it's an old world, a mindset. I don't think the kids of the future are going to have labels of anything.
Right.
Just human.
Right.
And
I love it. I think so too. I just know that it's such a big stereotype.
I think there's stereotypes, because I think that when people see shows on some cable stations and you see men with heels, it definitely throws you off. And I think that's something that's different, which is a completely different argument that I don't even have the authority to speak on.
Right.
But I think just in everyday life, in every office building, at every record label, in every studio, at every magazine, I think those staffs and those people are pretty diverse. And if people track their readers or their followers, they'll see they have a diverse amount of followers. You know what I mean? I think that everyone's not going to accept everything. Everyone's not going to like each other. I mean, 50 years ago, black people and white people couldn't get married to each other. I mean,
right.
Humans, what's Obama say? The arc of morality is lean towards something. I don't know how that goes, but I think in time, people will come around.
Right.
And I have great hope that the younger generation don't really care about labels.
Right.
At all.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So everybody that's listening out there that may have their hang-ups about whatever, really, take that into account. Because
yeah, I mean, hang-ups about this height, skin tone. I mean, I don't know how real we can be on this conversation.
No, we're gonna be real.
But
real.
even sometimes I make fun. I'll be like team light skin on my Instagram, and some people got offended by it, and it's like, no, I'm not saying that I'm better. I'm just saying team light skin,
yeah.
Or
people
it's like team blue shirt.
Things.
People read too much into things. I think that you have to once you learn to love yourself and know your own greatness, there isn't really much that can deter you from the path that you are set to be on.
Right.
And that just is something that I truly believe. When you have that moment, you have this and Oprah talks about this, you have this moment that you know what your purpose is. And once you know, you have a choice, either live it and go on that path or ignore it. And if you ignore it, you're going to never be happy. So I knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I was afraid of it. I was afraid of the struggles, finances, all that stuff. And then it came to a point where I was at a job that I hated, and I had to make a decision to change, and I did. And since then, everything's been great. That's it.
So, being that you explore your greatness and you try to really utilize all the talents and skills that you have, tell us about some of the things. I just found out that you had a restaurant. Tell us about some of the business ventures that you created that we may not know about.
So my first business, I was I think 10 or 11, I had my grandfather make me a stand to sell lemonade. So I sold lemonade and iced tea.
Okay, variety.
My grandmother made the lemonade, and even my mom made the iced tea.
You paid them? You paid grandmama or no? They was doing it out of love.
They did it out of love. I owe you guys. So that was my first, and I didn't sell it for a nickel, which is what everyone usually sells lemonade for. I sold it for a quarter. And it worked out, and my neighbors bought lemonade, and that was probably 2 or 3 weekends I did that. I get bored with things very easily. My next business started a DJ production company. So we would go to, this I was 13 years old, so from 13 to 17, it was called Vibrations International. And me and the 5 guys that were on my block, we were all around the same age. One had DJ equipment, one had the records. I knew how to dance, so because I really wasn't much of a DJ, and I would be the hype man. And we would do bar mitzvahs, high school, junior high school parties, backyard parties, all
from
of it.
the age of 13.
13 to 17, we did that. Yeah, until I went to college. I know, and I was the MC hype man / business guy. So I always want to know. Oh, that's a really important part. Know where the money is. You know, as your business grows, you gotta. I think Oprah still signs. I keep saying Oprah in this interview, but I love Oprah.
Yes, I love her too. We love you.
I think she still signs most of her checks, all her checks. So keep that in mind. So I was always, on the business side of it when we had that company.
So you're saying the money is on the business side. It's like not just being the talent.
A lot of people want to be the talent. They want to be the rapper. Well, be a rapper and be a producer. They want to be a DJ. Be a DJ and a songwriter. Whatever it is, you have to know you got to know who's handling your business or how your business is being handled. You can't just leave it out to somebody else. And sometimes when you focus so much, you're just wanting to be the talent or be popular, and you can be very popular and have no money. I mean, there's so many rappers that I don't remember their names because they're not around anymore.
Right.
And they're probably all broke.
Right.
You know what I mean? So even not just rappers, R&B stars.
Let's include all you guys.
Football players, athletes of all kind that went for the fame and got the money fast, but didn't have a business plan, set up. One of the greatest things Jay-Z said is that, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. His whole being is a business, and that's something that's really, really important. So you can go buy the albums, but also see what this guy's doing on the business side, and how he's multiplying his money.
Yeah. Okay, so we posted a video on Instagram inviting your followers to, ask any questions that they had. So let's see what we have going on here. We have some good ones. Okay, let's see. Where do we start? Okay, so at Mr.Smooth12 wants to know, where do you see Blue in 5 years from now?
Hopefully a public company, publicly traded company. That's always been a long-term goal of mine. I've been obsessed with the stock market since I was 13 years old.
Right.
I took my first business class in high school. So yeah, I'm obsessed with Wall Street, and I'm obsessed with business, and I'm obsessed with publicly traded companies. And I think that as we grow our brand and we strengthen our brand, we'll be poised, within 5 years to do an IPO.
I love it. Yep. And I think that it will happen. It's
going to
happen. So we watching them.
Yeah,
we looking to put our money on there. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not saying it because I watched Empire and they're going public. I've been saying this for a minute, so it's not nothing new.
Not nothing new.
Not nothing new.
All right, so Monsieur_DD wants to know, what inspires you?
It's another one of those weird questions because there's so many different answers. But I guess my greatest inspiration is the fact that if you pay attention to stereotypes, my mom being a single parent, she wasn't supposed to be successful, and therefore me being a child of a single parent, I wasn't supposed to be successful. So I think that's my greatest inspiration, is that I never knew that I wasn't supposed to be successful, and my mother's very successful. So that's my greatest inspiration. It's just proving, not that I have to prove, but proving to the world that stereotypes are pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you. Have a lot of quotables in this interview. Oh my goodness. I love it. So ericavane.com.
Hey Erica.
Yes, I love Erica. Make sure you guys check out ericavane.com for all your entertainment stuff. along with Blue. She would like to know, with such longevity and success, how do you set new goals for yourself and Blue Life Media Group to keep achieving and improving?
It's funny, success is such a strange word to me because, it gets thrown on me a lot. You're successful. But I'm striving to be great. That's
right.
that's the word I'm going for. I want to be great.
Right.
I want to be the greatest I can be. I think that humans have such huge potential, and very few of us tap into our greatness. And I'm trying my best through myself, and then through me, through my company, be the greatest we can be. So not just being a multicultural, inclusive publication, being the best, being the greatest that there ever was. I want people to, study how we did it, study this business model, recognize it for its greatness, and hopefully inspire and teach other people. Because there's no point of me being the most successful person. That's pretty boring. What's actually great is when you're surrounded by successful people. And sometimes you have to be part of that catalyst. You have to inspire those around you to also want to be great, and you can be great together. Because, you don't want to be the guy that has the remorse, oh, I'm the one in the crew that made it, so therefore I got to buy everybody a bottle.
Right.
No, I think we all should just buy our own bottle.
Yeah.
That's probably best.
I love it. I love it. That's probably best. I love it. Okay, so let's see. We'll take one more question. All right, Jess Guzmaserati. You know who you are, Jess. Jess wants to know, what are some of the biggest obstacles you had to overcome on your journey to where you are today?
One, money. Because I think someone just said to me yesterday, I thought you came from a privileged family and you didn't work. I'm like, what do you mean? How do you not know I didn't work?
Right.
Strangest thing. So money, one of the biggest obstacles. Two, truly really believing in what I'm doing. So, I'm sitting here saying all these positive messages and greatness and all this stuff, but I didn't always believe that. And so I had to get to a point where I really believed that I could be great, or that I was on the path to greatness, or the path less traveled.
Yes, love it.
And then paying attention to other people's opinions, because I think that Blue's in a great place now. We're doing our own thing. We have our lane. But there were times where I allowed people to tell me, not a good idea. Don't do it. You're crazy. You're starting a magazine. Magazines are folding. Well, actually, magazines are growing. The ones that were no good are folding.
Okay.
That's the reality of it. Those that were redundant, or those that weren't making an impact, or ones that were just taking money, those didn't work out.
So you think hard copy magazines are here to stay?
You gonna bring your iPad in the bathroom with you when you're doing number 2?
I mean, you'd be surprised if some people do.
Yeah, I
think
there's something that's the tangible, seeing it's deeper than that. Magazines are here to stay, but for sure, people of color have only seen themselves in print in a positive light from 1950s forward. Before that, we were pictures of us being lynched, hung, or being sold is how we saw ourselves in printed matter. So to me, yeah, maybe the greater U.S. at large, white people are tired of seeing themselves in print. Maybe so. But I know people of color are excited to see themselves in print. I still, when I pitch someone, I'm like, oh, we're going to put you online. They're like, no, can we please get in print? Because there's something about that. There's something real about that. And I have magazines. I have a storage full of magazines from Black Enterprise, and Ebony, and Essence, and Jet from years ago. How many bookmarks of a website can you have on your computer that you're going to really go back to and reference? That you're going to leave on your coffee table when people come over and they read it. I'll go to my aunt's house and she'll have an Essence cover with Jill Scott on it or whatever. That something about that issue struck out to her and she kept it on her coffee table. I think those intimate connection that people have to printed material is what's going to make magazines here to stay. Now, people may not want to pay for it, which is why we give Blue out for free, but they still want to read it.
Right. So, how do you make money off of Blue?
Advertisers, and we do newsstand also. So we don't give it for free everywhere, but in your major cities like New York, LA, DC, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, at men's barbershops, at men's retail stores, you can find a copy of Blue. Or you can go online, you can subscribe to us, which the paid subscription is pretty affordable. We'll go to your local newsstand and pick it up.
Right.
Barnes & Nobles carries us, some Targets carry us, but also advertisers. And you know, one of the great things this past year, we got Lexus as an advertiser, which has been amazing to have, and they've been a great partner for us. And that's how we do it. And we make great material. We always wanted to make great material, even when money was tight. You know, people would say, "Oh, your paper is so good." I never, ever, ever, ever shorted the quality of the publication because I knew that that's what people would like long term.
Right. And I have to say, I definitely agree with you on the fact that you like something more tangible. Like, you know, I know there are people out there that glorify the nooks and things of the world. I like to read a regular book, you know, feel the book, turn the pages.
Some things for that is cool. I mean, I have a laptop, PC, a MacBook,
you gotta have
iPad,
those. You gotta have those.
iPhone. I got all this stuff, but it's great to grab a magazine and read something long form. You know, all the business magazines I get, like Forbes, Fortune, Inc., Entrepreneur, Wired, Fast Company, I still pay for those subscriptions.
Right.
I'm still a consumer of printed matter. So.
Right. And I feel as though printed things are it's more final.
It's like a stamp.
Yeah, I love it. You just dropped so many gems. I'm leaving this interview feeling so lifted and inspired and everything. No. On behalf of everyone else on the other side of that screen, I just want to thank you for having the courage to make your passion your career.
Courage, passion, the path less traveled.
Yes. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.